First play I'm looking at tonight is coming from the Cleveland versus Boston game. The game is in Boston, and we're looking at Donovan Mitchell. We're looking at his points. His prop is 25.5. As you can see, he's hit this prop on the over 5 out of the last 10 games. And out of his last 6, or out of his last 7, 5 out of his last 7 games. Against Boston this year, in Boston, he had 41. In home, he had 25. I expect him to be aggressive again, but you do have to take into consideration that Boston is a very good defensive team. So he's a prop that I'm looking at tonight, taking into consideration everything that we talked about. Second player I'm looking at tonight is Brandon Ingram. They are playing Portland. Portland was in Golden State last night, so they're coming back to Portland to play. New Orleans been sitting there for a day waiting on them. I love the scenario, especially when you're playing the lines on the game. But I also like it for the players too. Ingram's prop is 25.5 points. He's hit it 5 out of 10 times this season. Against Portland, 14 in home against Portland. I think it's a real good spot for him tonight because he has been aggressive. So, but again, the line is 115 over, 115 under. So then, doesn't seem like too much money's coming in either way. It's probably pretty much even. But it's an interesting prop to look at with New Orleans with a day's rest in Portland tonight. Portland's coming off a back-to-back loss versus Golden State. Third player I'm looking at is Jalen Brunson. Looking at his points prop of 24.5. He's hit this 60% of the time over his last 10, but not in his last 3. Last 3 games, 1 on the road, 2 at home. This game is across town in Brooklyn, I think. I'm sorry, no, it's at Madison Square Garden, so it's a home game from New York. First Brooklyn this year, Brunson has exceeded this prop 2 out of 3 games. Last game, in home, 40. Prior to that, on the road at Brooklyn, 26, 28. Prior to that, back in November, he only had 14 at Brooklyn. Again, I think this is a good spot for Brunson, someone to look at. Taking into consideration, he hasn't done it over his last 3 games. So, he may be due to have a big game. So you have to take all that into consideration. But Brunson is another player that I'm looking at tonight. Fourth player I'm looking at is going to be Jaylen Brown against Cleveland in home. We talked about Mitchell. I like Brown on the other side. As you can see, 7 out of 10 games, he's killed his prop. And the prop, we're looking at his points, 24.5. He's killed his prop 7 out of 10 games. He's playing very well right now. Against Cleveland this year, he's went over 24.5 2 times, 32 and 30. 1 game in Cleveland, 1 game in Boston. Brown is someone to look at tonight. But take into consideration that I think Jason Tatum's going to be very aggressive tonight. I think he got kicked out last game. So taking into consideration Jason Tatum impact on this game also. Last play I'm looking at is going to be Desmond Bane. We're looking at his rebounds. The books are giving it to us at 4.5. Prizepicks are giving it to us at 5, of course, because it's a heavy favorite to go over at 4.5. So Prizepicks push that number up. Still, 5 out of his 8 games, he's going over that even at 5. Versus Houston, 1 game this year, he had 6 rebounds. Memphis, this is a back-to-back for Memphis. They were at home last night against the Lakers. Let's see how many minutes Bane had last night. He had 30 minutes last night, so he's going to play tonight. And Houston's going to keep this game close. That's what these teams do. This time of year, you could probably see a little letdown from Memphis tonight, but this is another prop to look at. He pretty much smashes his prop a lot. For the season, 61% of the time he's went over. Let's move it up to 5. or 55% of the time he's went over 5. So again, take everything in consideration. Take the back-to-back into consideration. Take his great numbers against Houston in this consideration. You have to take all these things in consideration to make a play, but I think this is a good player to target. Also, just remember Kevin Durant. All his numbers are low tonight. Take a look at Durant. All of them are low. He is on a minute restriction, but all of his props are low. I'm not sure how many he's going to play. I'll probably fade Kevin Durant tonight because I don't want to be guessing. So go ahead and like, subscribe. Both of those things would be greatly appreciated. That's all I have for today. Into the next video. Peace.